Yes, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, Fambulem, I bring you a warm and massive greetings from the TNN podcast. I will not tell you, I say, with a shift, the TV empire will be the mother name, the mothership, the mother organization, and the outflowing chapter them will be like the podcast. This is what we're doing. However, today, na the 7th of December, 2023, and the time on my side is 11:20. 11:20. Than a British Standard Time, BST for short. Ongoing conversation around development. Imagine at what time they fly. Okay. It's almost like now 2 weeks now in the council. I think today may come 11 or 12 days. I mean, when we began a security breach, we later on was escalated or step up by the country security as an attempted coup. It is very interesting, the process of how it became an attempted coup from a security breach. To me, there's not much of a difference, but of course, it's also a talking point because one moment people they say it was a security breach, and then the next moment it is a coup, an attempted coup, as alleged. I must use that word because of late there's a lot of us. Some people that are considered to be professional people, some people that we come up from a security background, a judicious background, but then forget for no say we system, we judiciary system, we law, we courts, the constitution. It presume every citizen as innocent until proven guilty. Now that point then the constitution come off for back every citizen. So when you become accused as per alleged, now I make the word critical for use. It's very necessary until you go to court and then go convict you there, then you still remain innocent. Anyway, for cross the boundary between a breach of security to an attempted coup, it's not wide, it's not big. It shouldn't be controversial at all. It shouldn't be. The thing about what happened on November 26th, and what really baffled me, Fambulem, is the unbelieving, and this is serious, the unbelieving of the government by its people. I repeat, the way the people are not get no belief. I mean, a huge number of the population don't have any belief in their government. I am not making this up, and I'm sure say some of you where they watch go know this, that yes, it is true, and that they prevail all over the place during this few days where we get with Cuscas again now with country. I mean, people are doubting government, everything government say. Government does have a fault here though, but the main issue is government was supposed to look after its people, whose responsibility now for look after its people, providing people them with information, way for keep the people safe. Yet the people have got a serious doubt about government. I mean, this is quite telling, and these are really worrying times. Okay, these are really worrying times. So it is a very serious problem, if I may say. And but today I want for let we touch on this coup business, the aftermath, and waiting to go on. And as soon as I can see the title, EBK is not above the law. So there are few things that I want for touch on. There are few things that I want for touch on. Yeah. Una please feel free. please feel free for sending una comments, okay? I want to let the chat room be lively. I want to let we have a conversation between ourselves. After all, we are all Sierra Leoneans. Although some people doubt me own Sierra Leonean and nationality, as if they're more Sierra Leonean than I do. Okay, but I think that has been put to rest. But I want to let we have a conversation. So please feel free for have the usual conversation at the chat room, but let's keep it respectful. Okay, like I've been saying, I want to talk on a few things. I want to talk about the coup, the aftermath of the coup, what exactly they happened, and as I understand them, and the former president EBK, where I understand has been invited by the police. Now let's get into this quickly because I don't think we get beaucoup time and it's late. We get a few guests there where they come this week. We get on Friday, on Saturday, we get the former Honorable Sirajin Rollins Kamara will be on the program, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to be a great show because we're going to talk about APC, whether APC they implode or is self-destruct, something around that. So una keep eyes and ears open. And then on Sunday, we get Thomas, Padante Thomas, who splits opinion right in the middle, which is a good one, where you hold your views and you hold your ground. That's what it is. You have people who despise you and others who appreciate you. I mean, it's happening to every one of us. But then on that particular weekday again, we get Iafande. Iafande, una pardon me 1 minute here. All right, then, many thanks. Iafande received Government of United States Award. I mean, the office of the President of the United States, in other words, Joe Biden, can issue a lifetime award or acknowledgement of things that way you contribute to your society, your community, and etc. So you can be recognized for that. And it's a prestigious award being accorded to you by the President of the United States and the Office of the President of the United States. So Iafande, a son of the soil, specifically from Kono, a politician as well for C4C, you go there on the platform and you don't think we will not talk, so there's a lot to talk about. But for us getting to the program, Famulem, each time when there is a breach of security, every time when there's a breach of security, political people they can use the opportunity. And remember, say I put this in the general form, but I go narrow and down, because they talk about events we recently happened in our country. But I just try to talk about the trend and what can happen in this situation, because things don't happen in a vacuum. There's always a context. I mean, a man will like to talk about context. I like to develop me story and for create a sort of background. I want my good friend in like the word synopsis, okay, of the entire story. So each time when there is a security breach, the authority, I will call them the authorities, they are always using them particular thing and the way happen like a security breach as a talking point, And the one that we can use the talking point more, now the one that we're not successful. I mean, government that we're not successful. Governments that are going through difficulties, that are going through hard time. You get economic problems, you get financial problems, you get social problems. And basically, things are not just going fine on many fronts. So governments the world over can do them things that they can amount to distracting the attention of the people. If you do political science, of course, you will understand the things they are, how then they play. So yes, that's a possibility, because then there is a motive. If you've been investigated, you will start when they accuse somebody of something, you get to establish the motive on why. And we'll talk a little bit about, some legality in the general sense, because I am no lawyer. So the point here is you will find people that they support government, then go they rehash then talking points then they over and over. We don't hear Boku, the last government, the government before the last, and this one is just the same thing. But the difference here is that ante has been upped, because when you defend yourself, you get to defend yourself aggressively. And the more attack that is thrown at you, or the more things that are thrown at you, the more you get for aggressively try for defend yourself or avoid these things that are being thrown at you. And sometimes you don't only be in the defense, you also go on the offense. So government get in support of them, waking they rehash all them talking points, then the way something can happen. Now, exactly we see in this case, waiting happen on November 26th, Fambulem. Very serious issue. But no sooner that it happened than people then begin for trade blame games on something we're serious. We threaten the sanctity of the state, the security of the state, its people, its fabric, its institutions, its infrastructures. Yet, people then begin for trade blame, sometimes so petty. But again, now the politics where we don't come for land, where we don't come for understand, where some of we leader them, they can promote. This is really serious, family. Then talking points, then they can cause some serious problem inside society. Sometimes it can be old one, sometimes it can be new one, just depending on what the situation is. Okay, but with the evidence, same narrative there over and over, being played out by supporters of government. And depending on which government within a power, do you allow we help shape the video, please? I think there are 25, 26 of us now watching. Of course, the program start late. We salon audience, then we don't retire now, probably not tomorrow and go watch them. But those of us that are watching, we'll make sure say we share them and continue for share. Because I'm sure say social media busy and not very many people are sleeping, especially those outside of the country, Sierra Leone, right now. So what think happen in that situation there is like different party politicians, them, supporters, sympathizers, then can begin for trade blame. Where government in a power, government na the most powerful bullhorn. So in support of them, they can be very vociferous, very aggressive, and in an attacking mode because they get protection. Okay, they get protection. And because they appear for be the victim, such as waiting happened on November 26, they can become more vocal because the people when they are accused of such a serious crime, you're not able to go on the offensive at the time because the pain is raw. The reality is there that anything could happen. So when they throw them blames and they at you, that like being involved or now all, now do this, now say this, now do that. You normally keep you cool, especially from the beginning, because at the time emotions are raw. So government supporters them, they can largely go on the offensive and begin for accuse people them of all kind of thing, without having a shred of evidence. And family, when I know say what they talk is true because we just faced that again just a few days ago. And even as we speak now, there are still the atmosphere, the communities, the nation is saturated with lies, half truths, and truths. The truths are minute. So it just add for shuffle them come up from inside the truth because other people the lies. Other people they do understand the situation and can want milk the situation, Englishman can say. You see a certain situation will present itself, and then you want to take advantage of that situation. It always they happen. Right now, finger pointing, you go on. This is pathetic. You take picture with somebody, let's say an Escoma, for example. All the people that will take picture with her now, this not a government or this now the rabid supporter them. Now then they try for appear as if the idea that you had a picture, you took a picture with a former president or a former government official. So therefore, you are somehow linked with the events of November 26. But then go did arrest people, Then go really arrest boku people. Because this is what's happening on social media now. People are not get any shred of evidence. People are just they develop their own story them. So story them we not get no head, you not get no tail. But in social media, anything sells. All man seem forget a geography or a demography. Everybody, sometimes it's little, sometimes it's big, sometimes it's in the middle. And then the idea now you get your phone, now you get your data, you can just make something, and just throw them out there. But having said this, not forget say there are people working scrutinize all LinkedIn in there. So it can pass with maybe low-level people, them low-minded people, them we go enjoy what you say because some man and Sabi talk in a kind of a different way because they're not really addressing what the problem is. They're not really addressing the narrative. Now just for put one bomber talk out there. Then why are they go Sabi we the last time now so the partner they go and take it easy with them. And he washed down with some people because some people really want aggression. Some people and they call for the head of Anescoma, and we will come to that shortly. The advice for one Guinea is government should not, must not use the events of November 26 for crackdown, witch hunt, coerce, intimidate people, members of the opposition. And when I say opposition, I talk about the opposition generally. Of course, APC are the biggest one of them all, but there are many other opposition parties. But APC is largely the victim of this because any side you turn, you say NGC. NGC is not been accused, or members of the NGC are not been accused. Neither C4C or Unity Party or all the other party them. No, it's APC, APC, APC. This is so much an other truth. So it's possible that government can find reasons for crackdown. And I'm not saying this is what the government of Sierra Leone they do today, but I'm saying, I'm intimating, I'm surmising that there can be a motive and there are precedents in the world that governments can stage issues of different kind, different magnitude. They get the escalation method where they can use just for divert citizens' their attention from other thorny and burning issues, just like I said from the beginning of the program, which is for distract people from the main cause of events. So while we go at how you call them, attest to some kind of a security breach will happen on November 26, because we know. I remember my last program on a whole, and people, they try for ask some dodgy, sort of question. But the thing is simple. There are things that we know, and there are many things that we don't know. Waiting we know on that day, Sunday morning, November 26, is there was heavy exchange of gunfire or sporadic shooting, for better put up. But we now know say there were exchange of gunfire, but at the time, we know say there was heavy shooting in the capital. People that lived the area, which was unusual. Not just the area gunshot not to tell you play with. There's a reason why you go area, and especially sporadically, which is what happened on November 22nd. November 26th. So that much people knew that early morning, especially around the vicinity of the presidential lodge and one of the major military barracks in the country, apparently came under sustained attack because the evidence is still being developed. Remember, I said earlier on the program, you get the escalation method. So government at the onset, they say it's a security breach. The president himself said it's a security breach. The only problem I get with that, because there are escalatory measures. So yes, as the information they flow in, you notice that there is a security breach. And yes, there's been a security breach at one of the barracks in the country. But at the time, the information is fresh that is coming in, and you forget a team of experts, agents, intelligence officers, data analysts, the way they decipher and try for gather this evidence and scatter them and try for put them back together and see exactly what happened. This data where they come in, how for analyze them, what it mean, what's going on. You begin to make sense out of them. So at some point, it's developing from stage to stage. So at some point, you know that there's been a security breach. But what is this security breach about? You may not know at that moment. Maybe as the investigation they continue, It all begin to make sense, just like a jigsaw puzzle. As you dey get and right, whatever you dey piece together, it begin to make sense, because you begin see the formation of which you dey piece together. This is the way it works. Okay. So between they and a coup, where government say, well, it's a coup now. I don't have a problem with that, to be honest. Where I get a problem is the 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 miscommunication, if you like, between government officials. I mean, the Ministry of Information, of course, is the official organ for government in the country. But then you get other officials, the way they say, whilst the Minister of Information, they say one thing, another official of government is saying something else. So the government not being coherent from the beginning. And in them cases, then it is a problem, because then it begins to send doubts into the minds of people. So you don't see, and this is bad, especially at that stage, and you want the people on your side at that particular point in time. There has been a breach of state security. You they try for rein them in, whoever creates the breach. You they try for provide security, because that's your number one priority, the welfare and well-being of your people. And then you they under this attack. So when you pass on information to your people, you get to make sure say the information is correct, is genuine. You not compel if you have to give the people information, because you need for allay the fears of the people, calm the people down. But then if later the people then begin find out say the information where they come out not correlate, it's obvious that it creates doubt in the minds of the people. But never mind the security breach. And nevertheless, that the incident, it give party supporters them. And they talk about the SLPP, stroke PAOPA. It give them, the zeal and the energy for raise the talking points they want to talk about earlier, in which you hear all kind theory and all kind calls. Some of them amount to inciting, but no action will be taken against such people, because why? They're speaking in behalf of government at the time, because government in wound raw. Government itself, they look for people that way they sympathize with them at that particular point in time, because the nation is kind of divided. Some people and say don't come for can't overthrow the government. And to a larger extent, they were kind of successful, because they ran rampant and amok in the city center for hours before finally government began to take control. But the doubts in people's minds, that people up to this day still doubting as to what happened. Partly government is responsible again, because conflicting stories were being issued by different members of government. Again, this is a fact. And if they issue then conflicting statement, and the possibility of doubt for begin raising up people in minds, it all the way up there. You get the extrajudicial business the way can happen in that situation then they. And this is not good for a nation. Let's be honest. The last time in August 10, we saw the killings of police officers, or security personnel generally, because I think none of the generic word for the army, the police, immigration, and etc. These are all security personnel. And then we see the death of civilians as well. Brutal killings. So every time anything that happens, we see the extrajudicial killings. In this case now, November 26th, now government we see they do extrajudicial killings. And I say this because, yes, people will die. First of all, my sincere condolences on behalf of this platform, myself, and the people of Sierra Leone, to the people that will lost their lives in line of duty. I wish their souls will find perfect rest, and to their families, I really express my deepest condolences. On this platform, I can always speak against them kind of violence. There are violence that they born good picking. Violence now death business where people then die, there's no coming back. We've lost people them way. Government will have spent multiple millions of dollars for train over many years for make them fine civil servants, security personnel, state actors. They are also family people, husbands, brothers, sisters, cousins, and you name it. And now they are gone. Cold hands of death just snatched them away. They are gone just like that. On the day before, they never expected that they will lose their lives so violently. Yet it happened. And yet again. And the problem here is, how do we solve this problem from reoccurring? Again, I go come to that. Now, Ime could advise government about the extrajudicial killing there, waking happen, when kind of things there take place. Government did try this time, because the president appeared calm. The president's speech, in first speech to the nation, unlike the other one where he appeared upset, really upset. With this one, the president was calm. And the president in speech, it denotes unification. It denotes magnanimity. It denotes the person way na the emblem of the first gentleman na the country. It denotes the figment of light. It denotes the personality that's supposed to embrace an entire nation, under whose umbrella or auspices the nation supposed for grieve. But when he first begin for Baranta and begin call people a terrorist, that in itself is a problem. So that was what happened then. But this time, he was quite measured, he was quite calm, quite tempered. And like I say, a message out there was one of reconciliatory. It was kind of reconciliatory. It was kind of appealing for calm and speaking to a nation, not to a constituent. But yet still, the fact here is extrajudicial killings happen. Let me say that being the heat of the moment. And then extrajudicial killing, let me just clarify them quickly, if I may. Yes, there was ongoing action, a fluid action, security breach had taken place. There has been exchange of gunfire, or there was, or exchange of gunfire. Yes, this happened. But not so down there they talk about, because in the exchange of gunfire, in other words, for try for secure the state, and other people and they shoot at you, then obviously people are going to die. It's a sad situation. And they talk about the one the way they go from host to host for go pull people them and shoot them on sight. That's execution. That's no other way you can describe them but execution. And this is what I'm speaking to when I say extrajudicial killings. That's wrong, and that should be condemned by all sides. And if the president truly stand to what he even say on the day, where it sounds so reconciliatory, then I believe, again, because I'm sure a commission will be set up for looking into the events of November 26, but it has to be an independent commission. You can't be the judge, jury, and executioner. No. In this case, you are the victim. Allegedly, somebody can attack you, okay? And you begin for defend yourself. So you get the aggressor and you get the victim. So the victim get for complain. Who does that victim they complain to? And government's not the victim. So I don't think say it go bode well for like government now in they go complain, now in get your evidence, and now in they tell all the evidence, and now they look into the evidence. That would be a degree of dishonesty. Okay, so government must set up an independent inquiry and look into this case waiting happen, and look into openly. I mean, something was impressive, when the president talked. There were many impressive things the way he say. But one of them will catch me most, and which I've been very keen on, like what they talk about, so is he promised a traumatized nation that those that were responsible for what happened on November 26, and this is what people like we want for Yeri, and I sure say millions of other Sierra Leoneans do too, that they will face the full weight of the law. Now the law now ain't go get for decide. So therefore, no kangaroo courts where you go find people and guilty because somebody else says so, because a supporter of the president says so. Because we get that a lot on social media, in which the president in support of them, then they all over social media, then they act as if they're an advisor to the president. That the president for listen to them, and if the president can listen to them, all they want now chaos in that country. Because the thing that they call for is kind of very extreme. What thing actually they call for? Then they call for a bloodbath. That's what it is. And that's dangerous. That is dangerous. And they're not a leader. I mean, for goodness sake, if you get information about the November 26th incident, pass this on to the security services. That's the greatest good that you can do for your country and you compatriots them, you company citizens them, by passing any pertinent information where you get. Government get the expert people that we go able for look into that information there and see whether there's any validity in them, waiting and can harness from that information for help the investigation go before. But also for the pool tape, well, and Escoma, look at this, that picture under when the people then come out Guinea, now in host now didn't pass for good quarter, but it not been there, but it no bottom. Been there with live video link. Where Koita now so it do, it been there up here now, and this, and you know, all these wonderful, and some of these they come up from very prominent people, academics, civil society, and etc. Where I will talk about briefly again in this particular program. Okay, this kind of thing it really need for stop. Whilst November 26 be bad, and I oppose November 26. I'm on record for opposing them. But waiting can get to me at times is the ignorance of some Sierra Leoneans. Them. I mean, no offense, by the way, but the ignorance of some Sierra Leoneans. Them. So yes, I oppose to something just like I say now, but I've got a critical mind and I do critical analysis. That's what I do. Waiting happened, when it happened, why it happened, what were the possibilities? You know, when, who, what, how, and where. You know, that kind of thing, and the way they inform the outcome of what you try for think. You know what I mean? But once you begin to ask them questions, then because you have an independent mind, you know, they bode well for some people. Because that means, oh, you critical of government. Oh, but why shouldn't I be critical of government? I mean, you can support government, but you can equally be critical of government. That's another best thing that you can do for your government as much as you like your government. But how will the government malfunction if they malfunction? You see the malfunction, but just because you like the government, so therefore you set your mouth move. You decide not to be critical, but when other people are critical, you want to have a go at them. Whereas now, then constitutional right for be critical of government, if you didn't know, constitutional and civic right for do such. Because I'm a member of the society, I'm a member of the republic, I'm a citizen of the republic. This is a constitutional republic with laws, a government with responsibilities to its people, and a people to its government. In short, known as a social contract. Government getting part for play, I get me part for play. We all respect with various parts than what we get for play. And once we respect that, put them all together and marching forward, it makes a huge difference. It makes a nation healthy. It makes a nation, possible for it make people with their aspirations then for grow and fend their aspirations and make them real and actualize them. But it's not happening. And government they in dire street. But because now you government or the thief man or you thief man, you don't get mind for condemn them. You don't get mind for critique them. But again, if you don't even get mind for critique them, I don't know why you don't get mind for critique in public, because that makes you unpatriotic in the first place. But would you do that in private? Say, brah or madam, where you go foul? this thing not for be so, enough for do so, this, that, day. Do you do that? Because if the nation succeed, we all succeed. If government succeed, the nation succeed, and the people reaps the benefit. That's why government is and should be of concern to every one of us. Every one of us. Now, it make us say to government, not use November 26 for demonize the opposition or the innocent. Remember, I don't condemn November 26, and I'm not condemning it because I am here on live TV, but simply because I oppose to violence. Simply because I oppose to the usurping of power. When I be much younger and they read about coup plots and etc., I learned that, here from a philosopher, one of those East African philosophers, they not suffer too much coup plots, but they did have bad governments. Coup plot being much more of the West Africa. But I learned say the most rubbish civilian government, a better pass a military government. That not mean say I can't understand why a coup will take place, while there will be a possibility for a coup. Because remember, these things don't happen in a vacuum. There is always a context. Like the soldier, then, for example, them business, now for protect the state from outside aggression. They also get other responsibilities, though, and we really need for check on our constitution. Let we learn for be familiar with the constitution, so we know what's in there inside it, and so we be able to quote few things and understand legitimacy, what is right, what is wrong, when it is right, when it is wrong, what can be done, what cannot be done, what are your roles, as citizens in the republic, and responsibilities. Your constitution, your habeas corpus, your right. How many of us familiar with this particular document? Do we just wait till something happens and we go look for the verse? Or is it not incumbent upon we for try for at least understand this piece of document? Is it not? I think it should. We should. So I condemn November 26 roundly. Like the president, I remember I've been supposed to do a show a few days ago in which the headline, President Bio, there are good coups and there are bad coups. Well, of course, I get a group of people awake, you always attack me. Some are friends, just personally, in me inbox, PV me, DM me, and which one this again, this, that, and what have you. But you forget for no say this na my job. And me title them, yes, they are captivating, but they are intentional. But again, with this particular one, I wasn't making it up. The president said it, and I was going to play the interview in the live program. Unfortunately, something emergency been happening, so I've been here for call off that program day. But I will definitely do the program in which some of you may not have heard Usa the president say there are good coups and there are bad coups. He was intimating something like that when the reporter been asked him, because he tried for praising you. Remember, the president was once a coupist. He came to power via a coup. That in first stint in power. He spent months, I think about 3 months. That in itself not be enough for even in probation period. So that did not make him qualify for be a president, because like if you don't get the experience and what have you. No, I think there's a period, 3 months, 9 months, because 9 can begin judging a power 9 months. Things therefore don't begin to fit in place. You don't know partners, therefore don't understand your commitments, therefore don't make. Money they would be the whole year that they don't begin to release them for their project, then begin for roll. You know what I mean? Such is the thing. So anyway, don't say the power get PhD Panku. Again, if I were to use that as an headline for do a program, and that would be a captivating headline, and I didn't make that up. The wife said it on live TV, live radio. Now, another thing about waiting the First Lady, Madam Fatima Biobi, say about her husband, being a PhD in coup or couping. No, no. Yeah, what did we say? I mean, do we only look at from one perspective, or do we broaden we horizon on what in particularly the Mamigo mean? Because yes, the man is not doing coups any longer. I don't believe he's got any intention to do coups. He's now a civilian president elected by its people. Okay, so not prone to doing coups. So what did Mami say? Me man get a doctorate from coup. Could there be a different interpretation for that? I.e., I remember when the Mami say, I mean, this is what we need for no. It's not like he's in the barracks. He's the occupant of the state house. In other words, he's the president. So my husband get PhD in coup. Yes, once upon a time he led a coup that could have given him a PhD, but I wonder whether that worth a PhD. That was an internal coup, palace coup. Get few friends that will disagree, few friends that will tie up with you, few outsiders that will be influential in the thing, because by then the president was a young man, very, very inexperienced. Yeah. So there was a lot that could have happened there. Some of it we know now, with the benefit of hindsight. Some of it we don't. But he knows best. So other meaning could they be in this? Like say, well, this man I occupy state house, he know how for make a coup. If you want to make a coup, like pretend coup. This is the point I'm trying to make. Is that what the first lady was intimating? President can make, like, say, a coup take place, pretend as if a coup take place, because he gets a doctorate in cooing. So therefore, you know how for design, when for design, where for design, and you name it. So could that be it? Could that be it? But let me not waste your time, Panandi. That was just food for thought. So having condemned all of this, me they say there should not be any demonization of the opposition, which is what is going on now, both within the rank and file of the security, the country as a whole, and on social media. Who said they not set up kangaroo court, supporters of the president, the SLPP stroke power, they don't set up kangaroo court, and they act like an army of advisors to the president. I'm not saying that the president is listening to them, but they themselves, they are not helping the cause, because what they call for is a bloodbath. I mean, I've listened to some of the audios. It's unbelievable. These statements, they amount to inciting and need for being looked into. And President Bio need for speak to this. Yes, these are your supporters. I believe so you can come under pressure from them, but you need for speak to this. That you are on top of things, and some of the language being used is intolerable, just not acceptable. For go commit mayhem and bloodbath, not the North, because the North, if they may get you and your family, you will have been finished, and the people from the South, Southeast will have suffered a genocide, because these people are jihadists and etc. etc. They try for incite you into bloodletting, bloodbath, play on your emotion, because this is what happened. People in the camp for you, potentially you could have gotten killed, your family and what have you. This is what happened in coup plots. Yeah. And this wasn't like a palace coup side and just tie you up. You got to go piece in the net. Where as you come on those, so then stick you up. They say, you go sit down there, then tie you up. They wife the kitchen and tie them up. They put you inside one room. They make all the thing before they break or do clean. Different people and not take over the announcement. I will hear now in the air. No, this one from the outside. So the tendency for get gone down is high up there. So that's what I'm saying. The innocent, then therefore be careful, because the innocent people are losing their lives. Like in many other incidents, innocent people trigger happy security officers, because they know at this time they will not be prosecuted, because they've got a motive for going out to kill. And some of them is just pure leverage. Something happened between me and Santigi. Santigi may take me where for, he been toss me money. Momo say, they pay me. That kind of thing, and you find an opportunity, forget back at them, and before you go look, a life is lost. How many more lives we need for lost now, Sierra Leone, before we realize this is not helping us? Because it's an intractable problem and it will never stop. Because what's going to happen in that situation there is you're creating more enemies. The people that will die, then get people in. You will have been gone, or you will be out of the situation. Because now the same thing ain't happen now, there is sentiments and echoes of waiting and say APC do back in the 1980s or so, or at some point, killing of Southerners, Southeasterners. So that they urge you now that it's revenge time because we are in power. So therefore, we can take advantage of the situation. You see what they talk about? So in the process, innocent people are being killed. It's not helpful. The social media rabid extremist supporters are calling for a guilty now. That's before the trial. And in fact, a trial later. A serious passage in a fairy tale movie, Alice in Wonderland. I say, guilty now, trial later. We don't want any of that, Papa President. Because why? This is archaic, this is medieval, and it's dangerous. It only serves for divide the people more. Now, with so many allegations where they ongo na social media, and I want to move on to the former president, Ernest Bai Koroma now. You can see the amount of people we want Lemarabio put hands or get hold of Ernest Koroma. It's clear for what you see in social media, and this has been ongoing for a number of years. There are people who perceive say Ernest Koroma is behind the scene, not only with this waiting happened so November 26, but in other previous incidents, such as August 10, before August 10, and they create problems for Marabio because without Ernest, Marabio will have a smooth ride. But with Ernest being around, Ernest Naina, the instigator, Nainde behind this, and I'm not making this up, you've heard this from prominent people such as Dr. Sylvia Olayinka Blyden. She said, and we'll talk about this segment for probably a few minutes or a minute or two. Yes. But we don't hear from them. So this is not made up. This is on record, by the way. It's on record. So there is a large body of people who want for let this happen, for see the disgrace of the former president. You sometimes wonder why. You can understand when a man is a president, just like Marabio, you make a lot of enemies by the way you govern. Sometimes some presidents make even more enemies than others, and this is the case. I think Marabio has made a lot more enemies than Ernest Koroma did. But when we talk about Ernest Koroma now, he's ex-president, and he's vulnerable. He is. And not say he get guarantee and etc. It's not just easy for torture because that may spark chaos. But again, if the president wants further distraction and want for listen to waiting in supporters them are calling for, that's exactly what he will do. We see what happened during the election statements, then when the president made, those were scary statements. And those were unbecoming of the office of the presidency, the fountain of honor. They speak to in brother. Of course, they don't say no get brother. The former president in that kind of derogatory term than they. But it was intentional. That was a calculation during the elections. So many people, including myself, I thought he was sending a veiled threat to Ernest. Say, I know what you do that. Now you, they kike up APC, they make so, because now you get the money and connections and etc. But if you not be careful, we will treat you like Bobo. So that sounded to me like a veiled message where he said to the former president. But the point here is there are so many enemies of Ernest Koroma. I have sat down for a while. I try for figure out why. Waiting, obviously, the fear, this hatred, and hatred is quite a strong word, but there are people who actually hate them by virtue of their actions and waiting they intend for happen to them. To me, that's how I try for determine the level of hate that you will get for someone. Because when you begin wish death for someone, when you begin wish, yeah, disgrace for someone, yeah, who is on a higher level once upon a time ahead of state, you want to let them really molest them and disgrace them. That's a degree of hate. The question is why. So, like, I don't see don't boku them and try to figure out. So, what is it really? We're not naive enough for things say, and let's not do bad things to people. But from which I don't come from understand about them, I've listened to many of people who've been close to them. They've said varying things we are able for piece together and try for understand the man. I'm told that he's not violent. I'm told that he's a good man. I'm told that his intention is to make sure that everybody gladdy, that everybody, yeah, is kind of happy. But of course, when you occupy the seat of power, a degree of arrogance can come over you because you wield so much power. And if you get people that want to challenge you, then of course you can sort them out. Or you can threaten them because you get all these levers of state that you can use, push, pull. Yes, you do. So a large body of people hate him because on the last elections, the one before this one, I think the 2018, 28 APCians, they say they want this one green seat. 28 of them say they want this one green seat. And the seat can only be won by one person. Some people then say, well, now because it bring Samora Kamara in the picture, because Samora Kamara wasn't a part of them, in other words, who officially vied for the position. Samora Kamara was anointed and brought in. But this is what heads of state do. They always groom somebody all over the world. The United States, the United Kingdom, the methodology might be different, but they all groom somebody for inherit power when then turn them back. Sometimes for different reasons. In Sierra Leone and in many other African countries, it would be for protection. And they look for somebody where I go trust, where go protect me legacy, where go protect me, yeah, from being harassed, arrested because of my loot. I need for enjoy me loot. So I'll get for put somebody where me trust. So the president does anoint people. In the United Kingdom, again, it might be on the basis of partisanship. Me and you did at the same party, we share the same ideology. So I can help for promote you because if you eventually step into my shoes where I step down or anything happen, you will be promoting my policies, my ideology, my philosophy. That's what you will be doing. So it's a continuation of me indirectly. They do under the United Kingdom. In recent times, it was Boris Johnson anointed Liz Truss, which lasted for 44 days. Imagine British democracy of all democracies. Inside, I don't know how many months they changed 3 prime ministers. That's a record breaking for the mother of all democracies. So yes, 28 people want this one seat and only one person can win them. If it be even pull Samura Komode, it will have still been one of them that will have won the seat. So anybody wait for winner, the logic speaks to the fact say the other 27 or 26 will have been upset. The other 26 will have been upset with Anes Kuruma. And again, the logic speaks to that. Would have ever for been win? They're all for been fair excuse. Look at the former Vice President Victor Poe. He made an announcement to the president. A lot tell you one story today. All that talk with Victor Poe, they talk so. Hey, me not be once, and go call me. Now, so thief them in there. I mean, this is disgraceful. Big man like down there, now they talk so like Bobo. Can you imagine? But yes, there is no honor among thieves. I repeat, no honor among thieves. When Sam Sumana was sacked, and let's decide for bring Victor Fo and get in the position. The man will escort Victor Fo to Anescoma for letting go confer this new vice presidency on him. Now, pa Yansane, Usman Yansane, Victor Fo no know when they go now in Ngiam. When they Ngiam, when they don't pass through whatever ceremony and etc., when they go in Yansane, when they get inside the car, Victor Fo tell Payansane, say, let Payansane pinch him. I have a story I tell you, so you can ask Payansane this story. He said, let Payansane pinch him. He said, because he's not sure if he feel. Now, the same man, I turn around now, they pull all kinds of story. This is pathetic. I mean, no honor among thieves, because if there was honor, you go respectfully back off. But the man, they talk, they sing. Look, Alpha Khan, don't turn Jeliba. I mean, this is abhorrent. And then they say you can't change position. You can. But sometimes you go look at the reasons why. For Alpha Khan, we know saying that for save himself, save his skin. And he started it a long time ago from Bintumani 3. The party where he did as a senior officer. They say we don't get time for that Bintumani 3 because Bintumani 3, there is no good intent at Bintumani 3. It's all whitewash. Because why? The government is going after us, is pursuing us left, right, and center. Harassed, we've been intimidated right inside our own party headquarters. Then can they beat to the shoot tear gas day? Then they run behind we for money, then when they say we thief, COI, then they jail we, then they demand this, that, and then at the same time you're calling a peace conference done for impress other people because it's not real. So we're not participating. What Alpha can do? These were the first signs, if you're a political observer, for know where things were going. It turned out at Bintumani 3, and as the usual Libawe Sabi talk, they say it go there on your own, as a private sort of person. Can you imagine? Of course, that did not wash with APC, but what APC could have done, you get one party in power and in go the and so forth and so on. But these are some of the things, okay? So with all of the allegation there on this man and Escoma, people are not beginning to pull picture. Would have been sit down with him, they say, oh, this person guilty. This not guilty by association. Now the former president will take thousands and thousands of pictures with people. And some people are innocently, maybe they attend a function somewhere and then snap the president and then they're at the background. So these people are guilty as well because the man now when they try for point finger to say he had knowledge and possibly the mastermind behind the coup, because it seems like that's the trajectory that we are taking. The mastermind behind the coup is the former president. All the bobo they are former bodyguard them. When are the indication for sure say according to state security and government officials, now the indicator that they for say Anescoma nobody coup, and social media is awash with them rumor there. They put all kind of picture, old picture, this picture, that picture, that picture. I mean, we just need for stop. We need for stop. If we get information, pass them on to government. Government get professional people and for look into them. Pull audio. Marabio, when are you they take? What do you want Marabio to do? You want to revert to extrajudicial killing, just gun people and down, gun people and family down, just like how they mow the lawn in Gaza? Is that what you want the president to do? Then they come for you, they miss you. Now you sit down and make so. No, the president don't speak already that these people will be put through the due process. There is a due process in the country. Every Sierra Leonean is innocent until proven guilty. How many times do we have to say this? Now, it makes some of we can get upset who can see the extrajudicial killing them. They are absolutely uncalled for. They show we in a medieval time, that we haven't moved. They show, some level of barbarism in us. Look, people and tie them up, and shoot them in plain sight, torture in plain sight because you are the toughest. I can do what you can do. You cannot do what I can do. I am the man. Can you imagine? So that's what we are calling for. These things, it should not be happening. But you want for let them disgrace the former president. And it's not an easy task. Let me say this. Marabio can do that, but it do so at your own peril. I repeat, Marabio can do that, but it do so at your own peril. Because why? It get the troops, it get the power, it get the law, the judiciary, the courts, for triangulate all Lentina, use all Lentina against the one man. And it's not new, they've tried it before. But when you're powerful, when I say powerful, you get connection, you get powerful friends out there, you get money, so you get the best lawyers. You can survive for a while and provoke another person to anger. I mean, many a times you don't see Mother, you don't get angry, even on live broadcast, 98.1, where the girl named in the interview. I mean, the president clearly said, no, I'm not get party. And he was saying that sarcastically when they tried to associate in name with Ernest, showing that he was upset. And you know, they even want that kind of comparison and where they begin and they make. And he made it clear, no, get no party. Mix me and that kind of talk. So you see, we can connect the dots here if you truly are a good observer. You observe, you read, you assimilate, with all the people there, you read one story and try for, sifter the chaff, and you're left with the fine particles. We're able to make something of value. That's what you should be doing. Not just the crass now you go for any talk now, social media, will not make no sense. You just let the talk because they talk like something where you want for you instead of something where that will make sense. So they want let this man put Ernest Koroma. Well, again, Ernest Koroma is not above the law. Okay, Ernest Koroma knows that fully well. In the laws of Sierra Leone, nobody know they above the law, including President Bio. Waiting President Bio they enjoy is similar to where Ernest Koroma being enjoy where he been the president. But when you don't come under the presidency, that immunity that been covered you is gone. It's gone. You are not liable to be sued, and then if you are summoned, you have to answer. That's by law. And as we speak now, understand, say, he has been invited by the CID for some conversation, for go help with investigation, waiting in know. And to me, this is fair, and this is how it's supposed to be. I don't know whether there's when I say different, of course, there's always been some intent for molest, harass, like I say, prominent people, and they call Marabio, and I sure say in private, they are urging him, egging him on for do just that. Bo Olis mania, Bo Jailis mania. That much I can vouch for, I know, because the one within a public, how then they do them. Imagine the one within a private. But there's nothing wrong if the police invite the former president. I can understand all the hoo-ha around it, but he's not above the law. And he himself knows that. He know very well say, they're above the law, so therefore when someone, they go report. Because you have to. If you don't, then you will be arrested and arrest will follow. But why if the police invite you, you won't go? Why? Do you have something to hide? Do you fear the police? So when the police summon you, you have to go, and Ernest will go. Okay? Ernest will go. So despite waiting social media people and they talk as if Ernest is already guilty as charged by them, their own court of public opinion, Ernest will go and attend the call by the CID for possibly help the police in their investigation of waiting exactly about the incident surrounding November 26. And like I say, he became not above the law. He knows that. When he be the presidency, he was covered by immunity. He was protected, through immunity. The same thing I Madabio they enjoy. If Madabio were to leave power, he becomes vulnerable himself. So some of their cases, there are way people that can do killings and what have you. They can come for hunt you because they can take action against you. The family then can take class action. All them family and then call class. And all come together, find lawyer or lodge a complaint against you. So yes, and eventually you have to answer because you no longer enjoy that immunity. And just respect normal and that's how you conduct yourself as a statesman. So obviously I want to talk about Sylvia Blinding regarding Anescroma Lilibit. And this is really important. And Sylvia, if you watch, brilliant. Because I know sometimes you do watch the program. Once upon a time, Dr. Sylvia Olayinka Blyden was a huge fan of Ernest. Very respectful, but of course, the man was the head of state and the boss, Dr. Blyden's boss. So there was respect between the two on a professional level, on the level of him being the head of state, on the level of he employing Sylvia. Sylvia showered the former president with kind words, kind phrases, very, very kind. And for quite a while, both in power and after power. If we all can remember, and how we know this again, and this time we can talk about things them way we're familiar with, things them which are backed up by evidence, either circumstantial, forensic, physical. Talk about when Dr. Blyden and the First Lady, when they have them, off and on, and the First Lady or the presidency got tired of it and decide for sure how tough they are, how strong they are, powerful they are, for finally shut up Dr. Blyden. When they send truckload of policemen them for go arrest this single lady. Now in Pala, there was a huge portrait, a huge picture framed on the wall, a huge one, almost like a life size, because we saw it on the tape, on the wall of Dr. Blyden in residence. It was there. We saw it. It was recorded. And there was an incident around that particular unless in photo, in which a veteran agent, let's see, no Muhammad can only bet for one proof to the head of state that you do your work beyond what you're supposed to do, but then you do it so badly that you become the mockery, the laughing stock of the town. Ask the woman waiting on the school in picture they do na the wall. Imagine what the former president in picture they do na the wall to a former employee. Anyway, the point what we want to make, we will left that CID you don't talk. Yeah. But this is it. This is another evidence how close these two people were. And I believe mutuality in terms of respect. I believe the former president will have respected Dr. Blyden, and Dr. Blyden will have been reciprocal as well. And even after leaving the office, she was still. And how do we know this again? Because when they find the picture, when they go raid Dr. Blyden in home, they find the picture there. This was after Ernest had left power. So which means, say, Dr. Blyden is still being at that picture there. And I'm sure that picture there is not there any longer. We don't take her down a long time because things change. And that's my point. When did things change? Why did things change? For sure, I don't know why it changed and when it changed. I can guess the period because we know when the period when the shower praises on them, which means that things were fine. And once things go sour, we begin for see Lily talk, and the talk begin for develop into more and more PTI, more and more insults. Begin dress the former president with horns. So don't forget to, like the Vikings, begin call her names, begin for insult them in many ways. and then now begin for urge the BO government for arrest in former boss. So you see how things quickly change. The question is why? Waiting at the motive. Why is Dr. Blyden doing this? Calling the former president jihadist. This is not the word we don't coin now, along with the other jihadist people where don't coin. And this is kind of strong language. And they use them on a state level as if this man invokes violence. This man is responsible for all of this that's happening until Marabio put Anpanam and get around and put him aside. Then he want for let him put him. Marabio in trouble go continue. I swear, this is the interpretation. The question is, why is she doing this? And I shall say, again, reason is probably political. It's probably because this lady is highly driven by ambition. And people that will go team up now in way, I'm sure she's ruthless enough for match them up. Because sometimes your ambition, where they drive you, you know they look left, you know they look right. So probably ambition, I'm just second guessing this. And maybe Aness stood in the way, or Aness did not respect certain agreement, or did not. And again, I'm second guessing this. It's an assumption them now they make now. But yes, this is the man, Aness Koroma, where many people they want for let them put on pan, but only on the basis of their politics. Many of them, some of them may be personal. Let me say the vice president, for example, the former vice president who was sacked by Aness, a sack in which I found unconstitutional. I mean, little constitutional knowledge, because they elect all too. You guys were elected, and when I go now formulate a plan, say if you're not in a party, he's not legible for the vice presidency. So first of all, now for pull out common at the party. So those plots were hatched, and that was wrong. So on that legacy, that's a minus, a D minus on Aness in legacy regarding the former VP. But again, for come back to the issue, this is it. The hatredness, the dislike, the wanting for ill to befall the man is largely based on politics. Largely on the politics. Not really personal, from friends that I've spoken with who knows him well, have wine and dine with him. Say he's an outgoing. I've never met him before. And I look for photo session, by the way. I let for keep me archive. I look for session with Aness Koroma. Possibly if I get chance with Marabio. He's the head of state. And Fatima. I mean, this is written already in the history. So it's up to you to say he's not your president, and etc. That's up to you. It's an individual view. The enemy within the All People's Congress, because you get enemies inside and you get enemies outside. Of course, enemies inside SLPP, we wish the former the former president ill. And then you get the one then within, which are considered for be the most dangerous, because as the saying goes, if the streets not sell you, if the host not sell you, the street will never buy you. This is very true in this case and in many other cases. So the enemy within is the most dangerous. 28 candidates the last time, but with the atmosphere where they prevail now, where fake news now not saturate, social media, even though there are truth to many of the things but because of the information flow, the saturation of information, fake and real, it's just hard for let we find the real one them. Let we look at the government inside as well in this one whole November 26 issue, where they have for create this mistrust as well between the citizens and the government. Because as per my understanding, and I say I'm earlier, the different people and within the same government were saying different things at that early stage day. We have for raised doubt. People let me already get doubts. Now, where things not look, they correlate. because there has to be corroboration in terms of evidence. When you provide evidence, it has to be backed up. And I will talk about that shortly before I close the program. They pull a photo of Koita. Now that photo they will pull of Koita. I know Koita. I've met him a few times. He's quite a small guy. He's a small guy. You get this unique hairstyle. And if you don't see him a few times, there are catchy things about him. In unique hairstyle. Will be the color hilly billy where would they come up? I don't know how they call it now. Where you get this high hair pantapia, there you scrape a little bit of the side. Another thing we will notice about two things about that hair, the hairline and a hair curly. But again, he's a small guy, he's a smallish guy. And I won't believe he probably might be 5'8". Now there's a video where surface where they na Pademba, where they say na Pademba Road, prison camera, then I pick Koita up. Now when we look at that picture there, of course, if you just look at the picture initially, you think, say, yeah, well, this is him. But if you pay attention to the picture, obviously, it does not look like him. It does not, to be honest. And that's my view. I don't know what are other people's view. Koita, no, the person within that picture, we wear that blue t-shirt with the ripped jeans. Koita not big like that. That guy looks sturdy a bit. He look a little muscle. Koita, except if he been a train for go carry out the mission, so maybe he grow. Koita not get that kind of sturdy chest. Look that guy with him up with weapon in hand. How wide? No. Comrade Koita is a lanky guy. I've met him like once or twice, and I've seen him many times on programs. I don't interview him many times. Maybe I'm there for replay the interview, then they or they cuts them from the interview, and probably I don't say he's got many photos out there. So a lot of people will don't see and then go don't decipher that for themselves. But once the government begin put out a photo of that kind there, with the Ministry of Information attach information there with the Ministry of Information in letterhead, which gives credence to the photo. And if the photo turn out not for be real, it leaves the Ministry of Information in question. Family, when I don't see what they talk, make I go quickly to comments. I would like to read a few comments before I end this program. Still get a little bit more way for go. I still will get quite a bit of comments there. Yeah? Position myself for read some. The usual culprits, them I see the names, Momo Bandi and Nyale. Yeah, they've been very active. So yeah. So let's see what we got. First person we got here is Jerry Brown. Mr. Chroma, it's not only context that matters. Antecedents also counts. But Mr. Brown can't pull English from you. Anyway, many thanks for that. You are absolutely right. Yeah. Ishmael, I not put Jerry Brown in comments there. So Leon, I not make me say na me they make Jerry Brown in name up in the comments. Let's see what Ishmael has say. Ishmael. I hope I pronounced your name right. Ishmaela. I can hate for pronounce people's name wrongly. Okay. So when I don't see what Ishmael writes, they know so. I'm not sure whether I'll go able to read all of this. I'll get quite a few bits, but yeah, let me see what people are saying anyway. It's important. The thing about this platform is we try to make them interactive so everybody somehow feel then they participate. It's a good feeling. Ishmael Kamara say, if this was right, if this was not an orchestrated coup, how come the so-called First Lady celebrated her birthday a day after the husband was almost toppled by a coup? Only a crazy person will celebrate like that. Yes. I mean, that's strange. First lady can behave in strange fashions. Sometimes she like for provoke. Again, what I mentioned in comments about the husband, yeah, like again, masters in, a doctorate in coup plotting. So could that mean Naim able for make these things up and etc. But the idea of the first lady holding a birthday party whilst security statesmen were reported to be in hot pursuit of the assailants who stormed Freetown on the morning of Sunday, the 26th of December, is in itself quite telling. That wasn't helpful for the government case. You see, this is really damaging to government, and let we call and so. You go find people that will go try for defend them. But how do you eat a cake when you lose your bodyguard? How do you celebrate, yeah, gladdy, where your neighbor sad? These are the things. And this is quite important in human relations, in state actors. You, Nadi Mama, the state they're under gunfire. People are dying. People have just died. Loved ones have just been lost. Security officers, some of them that you will know, will have lost their lives. Boy, you they make bad day. Well, if we're not able to condemn this, me, I don't know. Okay. Let me go through them comments there quickly. I need for in this program. So Ishmaela again, it says Salon diaspora who are from the northwest part of Sierra Leone should avoid going to Salon right now because Madabio is in a killing spree and intimidation of North man. I don't know how much of a killing spree he's in. I did talk about this little bit, but I'm mostly from his supporter them. But the killing spree, we don't know how many Northerners have been killed for. Let we call them a killing spree. And we advise and advocate and call for restraint. And if people are suspects, if there is evidence against certain individuals, Sierra Leoneans, let the court take charge. And the president will not promise the nation that. And I have no doubt that the president will live up or should live up to that commitment. Momo Vandi, no, Brother Princess, not because somebody took picture with the former president, then you can be automatically accused as part of the failed coup. Those accused of being part of the coup have been active on social media saying all sorts of things about the removal of this president by all means. There are many people who took pictures with EBK but are not charged with anything. Okay. I mean, many thanks for that, Mr. Vandy. The issue about pictures, I can assure you that is true. That I have seen many contributions on social media in which people are just they pluck picture them from right, left, and center. And next day, and this person did all this person for pick them up. And some of it is not a joke. They do the same thing August 10. Media people where they talk, me included, because I'm critical of government, put me name there as if I wish government ill. So nobody know for criticize government, such as what they do now. You don't believe, say some people don't mention my name, say British police for can't investigate me. I'm guilty, I'm this, I'm that. Oh, yes, that's not strange. But I know my conscience is okay. But yes, you make quite a good point that people when they make talk, about removing the president. Yes, some people they say so. And one thing will baffle me at this time, coup plot not a small thing, but we get a couple of Sierra Leoneans them where actually they call for coup plot. None of these people that we me see the non show. These are other people them. Now they I see they call for coup plot openly. Coup plot is seditious. That's treasonable. And for let you sit down and call for yeah, will comfort probably because you're there away from the land. But I don't think we should be doing that. Is that how much desperate we are? So even if they coup the person, that the person no more now you want for let them coup and come out, you don't know what they can't take that place, or you just want for let whether now would ever can pull them desperate and despotic past the man within the pool. So therefore go ahead with that. Is that what some of us want? So anyway, I think you make a good point there, Mr. Vandy. Many thanks for that. Okay, that's Momo Vandy again. Like I say again, let's go through this thing here quickly. Well, there will always be a breach of security first before a coup at all times. So there was nothing wrong about the way the government handled the process. So again, you just they reiterate what you say. That's exactly what I've been saying. And I mean, they try for speak to people and maybe they express doubt because government say breach, and then later government say coup. There is not much between the breaching and you put it nicely that before the coup, security has to be breached. These are all the security language then. Yeah. So yes, that's very true. What do we have? Mr. Vandy is very active on the program today. So, Brother Prince, what is your take on 26/11/2022? Was it a coup or not? I don't know whether it was a coup. It's got the elements of a coup. But for proof saying a coup, and this is my point, Vandy, we can't just be all over social media. Now we they qualify, say waiting happen a coup. No. That's why these people will have to be arraigned. This is a fact that I'm speaking now. These people will have to be arraigned, those accused. Evidence against these people will have to be assembled, okay, and then forwarded to the competent court of jurisdiction, court of law. Now, in they go look inside, now in they determine whether a tribunal line established or whatever, if they give them the power, but not to we they sit down and say na coup. Yes, we can intimate say this thing will happen. It get all the elements of a coup. It look like a coup and etc. But not to we they determine. We can only presume, assume that it did look like coup. But in the end, not to we. Now a court of law, Mr. Vandy. Mr. Vandy again. Okay. If it's true that there were judiciary killings, then it should be condemned outrightly. But are there any evidence of such? There are many fake allegations flowing and floating around. So without any valid substances to support such allegations, I'm sorry, I cannot buy into it. Okay, Momo, I will expect you for no better than I do because you didn't at the ground day. No, but not exactly. I could be getting information that you're not getting. But the information I have regarding extrajudicial killing is much more public. What do you know about the story of the bodyguard of the president killed in his compound? If you know, do you help for tell me about how he died? How then whisk one away and kill one? What happened? Are they going to say that there was a shootout? Or maybe you get a different story. But we know, say, one of the Anescomai bodyguard was killed right in his compound. Usai be the bodyguard the president he owes. And another one was whisked away. Leather boots. I don't know all of the circumstances, but even the people that we kill him, you see what he do. Leather boot was not armed. He was not armed. There was no demonstration of weapon, nothing. And they say they shoot him in foot. They show the foot inside the shooter. And you could see they were toying with him at some point and say whether he don't die somewhere. No, he not die to this and that. With no arm at all. That's extrajudicial killing. That's execution. Okay? As much as waiting, I don't see. Except I see a story to the contrary. Other than that, that's execution. I mean, the same thing happened in Augustine. Remember Evangelist Samson. He was gunned down in cold blood. I mean, the law is, if you get somebody they flee from you, security official, somebody they flee from you, you don't shoot them in the back. That's execution. So if you know anything else other than that, please let me know. I mean, yeah. Let me see. Who's this? Papani Kamara. Mother Bio does not own Sierra Leone and will never prevent me from going home. Waiting go be. He's a coward running away from the country when useless actions are planned by him. Okay, so this person, Papan, is in denial. So now the man I planned this business. Very interesting. Momo Vandy, the government is not using the school to demonize the APC, but rather the coup plotters who are all members of or sympathizers of the APC, how succeeded had they succeeded in have succeeded in demonizing the APC and described and destroyed any goodwill towards the APC from the international community. That's an interesting take, but I've got a different, your sort of take on this. So first of all, you see, it is true that most, if not all, the names that we are hearing are associated or affiliated with the All People's Congress. So it then begins to make sense like, well, this look like APC coup, if not coup. But then it has to be through the court of law. Now, he make the president in a maiden speech after the incident said these people will be given the due process, because now the due process, and I hope is independent. Now, Ingo prove all of this because here certain individuals from the All People's Congress could take actions on their own, not the party. Remember, the party has got executive leadership and what have you, and not mean say where other people who are members go take action of that kind of, not in the name of the party, because they're not authorized to even do so. So they will be doing that on the basis of being individuals if this is the case. Thank you very much for that other critical one. Hakim Sisi. Hakim, this so-called coup has so many unanswered questions. Well, I give you one or two of the question, Momo Vandi. Brother Prince, there is no more death penalty in Sierra Leone because this president took it out of our law bodies books, so no one is going to be put to death. Yes, that's official. That's officially, no one is going to be put to death, Momo. You are absolutely right. The death gallows no longer exists. Some people were wishing that it did exist because the problem that some of the people have caused within the last few days in Sierra Leone is only the only remedy will be an eye for an eye, kill them, hang them. Unfortunately, it's no longer there. But there are many other ways to kill people. We've been seeing many deaths around, so let's hope that these people survive. Let's hope they survive. Let's hope they have their day in court, an open court, fair court. Abu Mansari. What's Abu say? Prince, all we need is peace, love, and harmony. Sierra Leone is really on fire, therefore must put it out now or else. I absolutely agree with you, Abu. I absolutely agree with you. And this is what I'm preaching. Somewhere this thing need for stop. If not APC they cause problem for Malabio, let it stop her now. Let it stop her now. Join hands with Malabio. Let Malabio rule. Everything has got an end. What goes up will come down. Every beginning has an end. For now, it's him. Before him was Anes. Anes had 10, 11 years in power. So just cooperate with the guy in the interest of peace. Una rule this country. Una support and who necessary, criticize them. I mean, it's difficult to understand because I have monitored the situation for the past number of years, and I understand a lot of things, and it's a difficult one. But despite being difficult, what's the alternative? Now, for create mayhem, I'm not accusing the APC of creating mayhem. I mean those who are doing this. Now, for create mayhem, continue for create chaos. Look at what's happening. Now, who's investor, serious investor, they get the money go down in that country? Eh? Who's serious investor, they get money go down in that country? None. None, fellow. I'm sorry, just to try to forget some things done. So that they will not discourage a whole lot of people, by the way. So they're not going there. So absolutely, I agree with you. Today, Stephen, a little bit quiet. He seemed for being a provocative mood. What does he say here? You were looking for your boy. Have you found him? Your boy, na asylum seeker. What was he doing in Freetown? Please tell us. So I'm sure he's directing this question to me, and I'm sure he's talking about Koita, and he's referring it to him as my boy. Sometimes you sound so childish and so petty on serious issues. Abu Mansari, we must put it out. I meant to say. Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Mansari. I absolutely agree. Yeah, this is serious, brother. I mean, the country need for move forward. Momo Van the brother Prince Ibike brought all this upon himself because he refused to exit the political arena. He failed to behave like an elderly statesman, like all other former presidents before him. And I would disagree with you fundamentally, except again, you know something I don't know, Mr. Vandy. Because what you do so, what you just say, you are just regurgitating waiting the president don't they say. That's exactly what you do. You they regurgitate waiting the president don't they say, and the president in support of them. Nothing based on merit, brother. To be honest, nothing really based on merit. So I'm not surprised I didn't kind of talk there. Except you're an insider and you know. Yeah. As far as we know, he's been acting like a statesman. Now, who's on statesmanly thing where you don't do? So first of all, let me put this thing to for correction. For a long period of time after he lost election, remember he bowed out of the elections. That in itself was a huge attainment, and that's statesmanly. Similar thing like what in George we are doing in Liberia recently. That's statesmanly for handover power from one elected government to another elected government. That's very statesmanly. But you guys tend to forget that. And he was maltreated. That's another fact. We happen with Siam live in the stadium. And we don't hear it. Thirdly, he was the leader of the party for a few years after he left power because the party began to go through some struggle. So therefore, he been there in an official capacity for the act in behalf of his party, but yet he was so quiet, so silent that most of APC people then were really upset because in that period, many things happened where them be expecting for talk. But the same thing, for not create chaos and for continue for be statesman, he kept his cool, kept his quiet. These are all facts. Under he knows now in stronghold, the stronghold of APC, McKinney, Usa he reside. Dozens of people then were killed, jailed for months because they protest. He could have said something, this not the stronghold, in the party leader. He did not. And I believe for the interest of peace, I'm just second guessing this, but he did not. And most people were upset, why is he not speaking? The party HQ was attacked. There were many provocative things done. And now you come out because una suspect and say, well, he helping party. If you're not helping party, who does he help? Because that's the charge. And now you regurgitate waiting and say, come on, man, we should be better than this, Mr. Vandy. Stephen, I need to forget about you. You're not serious. Okay. Presidents can promote their candidates, but not impose their candidates on the party. So first of all, that is very rich coming from you because I suppose you are SLPP, and if you are not, forgive me, but from the conversations that I've been seeing you on media for the number of weeks that we've been interacting, I suspect that you are a party member, and that's very rich coming from you, and that's double standard. So first of all, now the party in business. Now the party in business, the party then get your rules. I hear people let me say APC no democratic. So yes, under the definition of democracy, they were not democratic in the process of election, in the process of elections. But this is what they agreed to as a political party. Say, we in a selection now we go do. When no one's election anymore, there was rebellion within, and they went through the process and actually decide for democratize, which I support, and I support the same thing in the SLPP. The SLPP was democratic in that nature. But how did Marabio attain the chairmanship? How did he? You see, una can forget, but you own backyard and you want to talk about other people in your own backyard. Come on, man. Okay, this is a new one. Sounds like a new guy, Albert Fuji. Let's see what he says. Wow. This is a whole dissertation, Albert. Our politicians should not be seen as demigod, both when they are in and out of office. As a nation, we should have our men and women who should stand as a custodian or moral guarantors for our peace and unity. They should be apolitical. We need our chiefs, the likes of kings, obas, and emirs, as it is in our sister nations in the sub-region. All we are seeing now as a result of the aftermath of our colonization. Maybe it's time we redefine. Okay, I mean, well said. I do agree with you there. When people leave power, they need to leave and give peace a chance and stop playing with our lives. Stevie, I just put your picture there. Yeah, hi there. Yeah. Help yourself, please. Let me just put your caption there. Yeah, like I say again, you sound so small-minded, and I can understand your provocation, but it doesn't really work here. Like I've been tell you before, sometimes where you can lose track, it's on you, it's not on me, and the world is watching you. What's this? But Brother Prince, you are talking like an APC sympathizer. Well, I can understand that, Stephen. I mean, Momo, like an APC sympathizer. This is the definition when you are critical of the government. That's the logic in town, isn't it? When you criticize the government, and I'm a heavy critic of the government. I've criticized the APC many a times. You need to follow my volume. You used to make accusation. You only saw a few tapes of mine, broadcasts of mine. I've got almost 700 videos, my brother, on what, and how do you call it? On Facebook, I have over 1,000 videos, and on YouTube, I've got over almost 700. So you need to go watch those before you make before you try to justify some of these things. So yes, it does make sense that I sound like an APC sympathizer because I am criticizing the ruling party as a citizen of the country, which you failed to do until the last broadcast, when at least we talked some sense into you, brother, and you started agreeing, which was good to see Sierra Leoneans, get along and agree on something, disagree to agree. I'm equally critical of the APC. I just criticized APC again on this program on something major in which an Eskroma sacking of the vice president was wrong. Was wrong. I call things out by their name. You don't, because you're not party picking. All right, let's see. Okay, let's take 3 more. Momo Vandi, this is now your last one. What I take. You don't dominate the program today. So what do you say now? In addition to all what you've said, these coup plotters are in constant contact and communications with EBK. It can therefore be argued that EBK is guilty of waiting, misprision. Okay, I think he misspelled that. I don't know what he means for say of treason. Okay. Abubakar Rashid. Okay, this is somebody new. Let's read something new from somebody else. I don't know what Momo mean by the coup plotters were in constant communication. So you see, when you're trying to tie something, I mean, it makes sense though when you're trying to tie something. So when I said that the former president is potentially a target, because that's what is being called for on social media, and many of the ex-president detractors, antagonists, and etc. There was first of all denial, but now you see what you're saying, that all of these people were in constant contact. So therefore, he's guilty. You see, guilty as charged. I say guilty now, trial later. That's what I want to do. All right, let's see. Who do we have here? Okay, we got this new guy, Abubakar Rashid. What does he say? He say, I think the leadership is in confusion. He was not recognized by the international community. The elections outcomes is still haunting him, and even those in his close circle has been eliminated, and they are bitter with him. So the way things are going for him now is a state of dilemma. I agree to part of this submission. Yes, the elections, I agree. The reaction of the international community, I agree. And so therefore that dictates certain terms that are happening or that is happening. Okay, I think we'll stop there for tonight. Let me try to wrap up this program. But yeah, I need to wrap up this program. Yeah. So like I mean, they say he became all the above the law, but again, this many enemies them we really want to see in downfall one, in disgrace one, and for no other reason other than being political, grudge if you like. So I've been not telling you how November 26th been bad. I've condemned that. Only they put the nation in bad light. They deprive the nation of economic and social and political stability, and that get a reverberating effect. So things really need for change in that direction. So the evidence them when me they point to, if they not aggregate them, the one they not collect so far, waiting it indicate, what does it point to the evidence we don't collect? Who are involved? How violent was it? Who didn't die? How many people then die? How they die? So you see, there are many questions. And until these questions are fulfilled, because they have to be answered, investigation, bullets, which bullets? Because every bullet, in case shelling get mark, no usai come out. So we need to know all of this. Don't just tell us, oh, now then people and then they kill this. How? We need for know, don't we? Now, sure say even the doubters will like for know. When you collect the evidence, then where you don't aggregate them, you get for make sure say you not left no room for doubt. No room for doubt. In this case, there's plenty room for doubt where we don't see. Government put out bulletin, then pull them back. Then put, they edit. They pull picture, then pull picture. Invite this person, and no, we don't need you. This person report because he named me daddy and say no, sorry. So many, many things. So for begin, let we all take a look at some of the politics we involve around waiting happen on November 26. You see, politics now largely they drive we, even by this conversation that we are having. Politics is so tribal. And I know they talk about only now. Our politics from time immemorial has been tribal. But at no point in time has our politics been so tribal as it is now. I repeat, at no point in time has our politics been so tribal as it is now. Again, the evidence points to this as being a fact. And when I say so, if you're not able to understand, grab, compare, contrast, look into it and say proper, again, you will feel say, I am only speaking to the ruling party. In this case, no. When I say our, it's the plural. For us, we all, as a country, capital O, our politics, every one of us, no one exempted, is very, very tribal. Identity politics now we practice, but at this particular point in time, we tribal politics, it is at the highest height ever, and candidates from all sides, politicians from all sides are feeling this tribal politics, are feeling this identity politics, and this is no good at all. Okay, the APC SLPP identity politics or tribal politics is one that we should not encourage. It's one that we have to condemn. We get for condemn them and discourage and not only condemn. It's pathetic that in most cases, civil society organizations, they close ranks with government instead of doing what they're supposed to do. Civil society, we've seen many of them. I mean, again, this is not strange. In previous governments, there were these civil societies who were acting in consonance with government. But there was a level of independence or bureaucracy, even within government. Unlike now, again, this is a fact. Everything is coordinated at State House instead of the different government agencies and ministries. Everything at State House. Where at one time I described as Kukribafa, because now morning they all man they go meet because that's the center of the storm. That's the eye of the storm. So civil society organizations, they have been involved in all of them things they are on the side of government instead of taking an independent role. Just look at one of them, Edmond Abu, always at the center. You know, they spew their language there. We're so divisive. We're so one-sided, forgetting in position where he occupy. One of the notables as well in this division where they ongoing in the country is the Religious Council, which is a conglomeration of different faiths. We're supposed to attend to the bleeding or the crying of the nation and help for heal the nation in times of need. But no, they've taken side. Okay. And as a consequence of this, the Religious Council is found wanting. Now, I'm sure some people will not see or understand what in testimony mean. I mean, promise I talk. There's a lot of things addressed in this short program. We'll be talking. Some people understand waiting na testimony, and especially in the November 26 case. It's very important. It's very critical. You see, with a critical mind, you will always be accused of XYZ, but you have to remain forthright. Okay. Some of the evidence them we the testimony they will hear or the evidence they will put forward, now something where somebody else tell somebody. So in other words, when they look at second-hand and third-hand evidence, if that's what we're looking at, then you will see how faulty the evidence trail is. And I'm not saying that there are no first-hand evidence. Them no, clearly there are, but second-hand and third-hand evidence, Momo say where you see them now it tells Santigi. So now Santigi now he can't tell me. You see how far the evidence don't work out and the possibility of the language they change and get different meaning, a high up there and in a court of law, meaning language, a very, very serious. What in the language mean? The context, how you use them, when you use them, for what, it really does matter. So this second-hand and third-hand accounts, the way they get, where they say constitute evidence, a very difficult, for help this case for go forward, we get for implicate people then. One of the first-hand evidence them, again, we get question mark about them, because first-hand evidence not the best one, but himself can get question marks about them. There is a guy, clearly he was apprehended, I think a soldier. Okay. He's a soldier. He was apprehended. And then what really happened is he said he heard the voice of another operative. Okay. That's what he said. Only the voice. Is that admissible? Is that going to be admissible as, something thorough, a proper evidence that would be used to convict someone, hearing the voice? Okay. That's just one account. So I'm not saying that evidence no day or first-hand evidence no day, but the second-hand and third-hand evidence we bokus on our social media, because government self security officers and including some of we brother then where they non recruit where they gather information, waiting with the say and pass it on to the security, you have for shuffle them and go through them. That in itself no problem, and then information they need them boku. So then just they make it more difficult for the information gatherer then. So first-hand account itself can be dodgy. I make a mention as an example, that particular guy will say Erie Comrade Koita invoice. Listen, Fambulen. Whether you get doubt or not, and I talk on my first video where I pull out when the incident happened, I think on the Sunday evening, yeah. When they begin mention Comrade Koita in name, I think I pull a video where I say, where is Comrade Koita? Because Comrade Koita will have to make himself available for disprove all these things that were being said in his name, about him. So it will need for surface. So Comrade Koita, where were you was my question then. But we know where you are now. So the question is, what were you doing there? I mean, you have a right to go home. That's your home. I believe you have a right to go there. You should not be deprived of going there. So yes, you went there. But your presence there came up with something else, in which now you're being accused of an alleged coup attempt. But I hope you're giving your day in court. So when people like they ask for the clarification for certain evidence or piece of evidence, we go show some corroboration as to what is being put forward as evidence, or anything we go help for enhance the credibility of that evidence, the way people and they put forward, we are immediately called names. We are immediately called names, accused of being this or that, just like waiting Momo Vandi just do earlier on. Because I'm questioning, and my business is to question more, raise the awareness, make you think, not to waiting for thinking, but make you think, provoke your mind into thinking, into being constructive, into being critical. That's partly what I'm doing. I'm asking all these questions. I'm not just there people and feed me with stuff and I take them, where people that want for be judge, jury, and executioner. No, doesn't work that way for me. I ask questions. So as soon as you ask them question, una help me know how you manage to get this evidence. What in this evidence points to? What it amount to? What you get for do with them? How solid, how confirmed this evidence is? Waiting at the process we use for get them. How is this person connected to this evidence? Was it first hand? Was it primary? This is what academics do. They look for primary evidence, now and then they deal with before they go to secondary. But no sooner you do that, begin ask the question, such as what I've done here, I'm going to be vilified. As a this, as a that, as a that, as a this. But again, the work has to be done. This is what I'm doing. There ain't no stepping back. I've been in this for years. Don't cost me. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't tell me I'm a foreigner. I can understand. And the other important thing is, whilst SLPP, they cost me under, APC, they cost me under. Then this one, other person say, you know this, you know that. Well, probably get some biases inherent as a motorman. But what I know is my country first. Very important for me, my country first, on a more serious note. But for some people, and a great number of people, now either the party before country or an individual, in this case, the president, sometimes the first lady, before even the country. You see, when you are incapable of breaking this cultish hold where a leader can get over you, it then becomes a problem. You know, the charlatan agreement, the way people can go make in a corner, now the dark side of the night, between evil forces then. Now, they continue for make clear with the suffer. They go make agreements, them evil agreements in the dark, then charlatan them. This is what they do on every account. And then they hesitate for do that. The PAOPA SLPP, Marabio Admiration Society, therefore realize there is a country, first of all, called Sierra Leone, who say 8 million people, if not plus, leave. The Marabio government is responsible for, and not only them. And it's incumbent upon we as the people for call them out when and if necessary. We can't afford for allow this cultish hold where them people there get over we, for them we're not able for call them out, for them we're not able for tell on each other when something is wrong, when something is bad, which affects an entire generation. You can't continue for being a pauper, APC, Bio, and a Skuruma admiring society and forget, say, there's a bigger picture, there's a country. When we look at all the things that we transpire under the government since then take power, they talk about the SLPP government, the unbelievable awfulness of the leadership, unbelievable, I hear the stress and so, the degree and the length where they go for begin with the second term because the first term in don't come, it don't done. Yes, and then we don't wrap them up in history. We know what is what. The story is already told, so we know what is what. The second part will just begin. Now, in quite telling as well, the lies, the propaganda, the scale of the lies and the propaganda is unbelievable. Minister tell we say in 3 months' time, then we'll fix the economy. Of course, no one believed that because the first 5-year term, in 6 months, the economy was supposed to be fixed. Of course, it was never fixed. It only got worse. And you're not supposed to talk about that. For a long period of time, they told lies. They ran the economy on propaganda. And you can't run economy on propaganda because sooner or later, it will come out. And this is exactly what happened. They begin to get worse and worse and worse and worse. You probably, had you admitted, probably there will have been a way around it. And maybe the people themselves, when they suffer the blow now, they will have cushioned the blow because they will have been told, they will have understood. But then it be there on a propaganda scale. I saw the team be run, I saw the machine be run. Able, now that they are admitting, but it's because of the Ukraine-Russia war. quite telling. The lies are unbelievable. The damage being done, the content, a art for belief, all the things where they don't tell we for belief. Because this life, behavior, ethics, principle, integrity are all important virtues of life. Rules, obligations, standards, behavior, how we behave to a fellow man, integrity, like I say, principle, ethics, good one, honesty, uprightness, kindness to a fellow man, friendship, and loyalty. Remember, say politics, nothing we can evolve, but it's also about relationship. It's also about disagreeing for agree. You know, the virtue the way we can be proud of, or way we go look for parts to we picking them. Because teach a child how they should grow, so that when they grow, they're not going to depart from that way how you teach them. And these are all the virtues: honesty, kindness, friendship, loyalty, behavior, fidelity of your standard of behavior, and all of these things. But if you get a government we're supposed to lead by example, they do these kind of things to the people. Remember how I start the program. No wonder why people get so much doubt that when government they tell them say this thing are black, and you they look and when you know say a black. Not all that situation when the thing are white and they tell you say a black. Oh, the thing is actually black, and government they tell you say that a black, but you're not just the believer because you're not just one for believe government, and government itself don't shoot itself on the foot over a period of time, and this is dangerous when the people cannot trust government. Very, very dangerous. What in the new political order teach we is that you can become a head of state by cheating, by lying, or by treating all of the above good virtues they want to name, and I will name them one more time. You standards, your behavior, observing rules, how you comport yourself. I don't talk about behavior. the degree of honesty or just being honest, your kindness towards your fellow man, friendship, how you cherish friendship, you loyalty, to your fellow man. Don't be dodgy. So all the good virtue there have been treated with contempt, and then continue for divide we as a people. All of this we need for understand and try for take bold steps for address with government. Say, well, not to so this division need for stop. It doesn't go down well. When Mother Bio take over power back in 2018, he said he will rule over Sierra Leone, over all Sierra Leoneans, for all Sierra Leoneans. 6 years on, I mean, you can't say the same, will you? No, the country is divided more than ever. More than ever. Let's be honest. We have to be brutally honest by identifying what the disease is, diagnose the case so that we go able to find mercy for the disease. But if we not agree, say we get the disease, we dey in denial, we will never find cure. And we country will never go before. And so chap chap. So even for find correct investor then for come, we will never. Now so then cut throat investor them and then will come. Just they can rip we apart. And government will care less because government imports the oil. Government they get mass. Government they get electricity around the clock. Government they get running water. And the people continue to suffer. One last thing I want to from with them is the bridge. This bridge project. The bridge project is a good project. But let's take a step back and ask ourselves, priority-wise, what do we need most as a people? Then they say the bridge, they bring development. I don't think anybody they deny that, but the issue become one of priority. If you get running water and viable electricity, is that not development? You don't understand certain things there, they attract foreign and direct investor them into your country. Water, proper sanitation, constant electricity, which is a means of life, a mode for businesses. 30 they will not get them. That's also cut here, put here, manager. This government come, it make Bumbuna part 1. The other government come, it make Bumbuna part 2. This government come, it run 2-kilometer road. The other one come, it add half. This one come, it build 3 bridge. The other one come, it put 1 bridge on top. Whose kind of business this? That in the 21st century, we don't get sustainable electricity. Remember, I'm not blaming one government, I'm blaming all government. But you go speak to the one now, say, well, they don't learn the lesson from the other. Because after all, development is an ongoing process, not an event. Family, we need to understand this. We need to understand we country. We need to put we country before we need to put them on top of everything else. If we don't do this, there will come a time when, like one person at the platform in comments, it's so touching, it's so fundamental, it's so profound. It say we need to forget about this kind of politics we practice. I mean, I just a paraphrase and now. Other than that, we won't have a Sierra Leone left. I believe what this person say, and we will be responsible for that. What you therefore tell we grand picking them? What is it? You see, you can eat some of the pie, the national pie. In other words, waiting is of benefit to the people from the nation. Waiting the nation they get and how they flow to the people. And you don't have to eat crumbs where they fall off the table of the big one then. The agba them, the allegio them. You can sit down at that same table. We need opportunities, Mr. President. We don't need coups. We need opportunities. We need for expand our economic base. We need for organize serious policies, well, meaningful policies. I mean, there have been too many policy failures then on many important things, from the monetary to the financial side of things. Too many failed economic policies, too many. The bank has failed us. The bank governor has failed us. They don't auction, sell, buy. Today, we economy day in a deplorable condition. All the growth that was promised a number of years ago is all gone up in smoke, like a puff of smoke. So there's no expansion for the economy. In fact, there is contraction and it continue for contract. I just wonder how much debt we don't take already as we speak, family. How much debt we don't take already. This is quite telling. But our generations after I get for can pay for this. This is why I say, put the bridge on hold. I mean, for goodness sake, why one go spend $1 billion on a bridge? For waiting. I mean, I think say we get for continue for do programs for raise awareness in Sierra Leoneans them. Waiting 1 billion actually mean. We need for launch a crusade. And waiting 1 billion can do for the country. And I'm sure say with water and electricity, we need less than 1 billion. Forget a sustainable, proper, clean drinking water 24/7. I'm sure 1 billion can accommodate these two major projects then at the country. Electricity will not need for going cheap again. But I believe say electricity they come. But Fambolem, every good thing must come to an end. Salon must always be first. There are no two salon. Outside there for let we support government, let we support government. We don't need for make by that. A successful Sierra Leone means successful Sierra Leoneans. A successful Sierra Leone means a proud Sierra Leonean then. Really, because the world is watching. Love your country today. Be a patriot. Country first. This has been a Then and Now TNN TV Media Empire production. Once again, my name is Prince Emil Kroma. Till we see again, which is pretty soon. I want to say bye-bye for now. Please help to share. Goodbye.